I'm muted. Sorry. Hello, everybody. Yeah, let's just get going. And let's see if this works. Every day something wants to struggle. This morning it was YouTube. And I think it's working now. Let me just try and verify that. Yeah, okay, so YouTube is working. Twitch is working. I am working. Let's go. Okay. So what happened here yesterday? Okay, let's just start hot reload while we're here, right? Some good tasting coffee. Okay, so I got my to-do list here. Okay, so this is always going to be a thing. Fix module. Okay, we did this. Okay, this seems to be working. Okay. Shipbuilding, that's a different story. Okay, so here, don't always see available modules to install. Lost one extraction. Did not see solar module. Production does not refresh correctly. Okay, yeah, so that's... I think I can quickly replicate those bugs, because I remember what was happening. And then we can start digging into the code to figure out what's happening here. Okay, so if you go to production, and let's say you produce 3... let's produce volatile extraction modules. Right, to start them. Okay, so the one bug was when I go back and I go into production again, you can see something is producing. Yeah, only there did it actually update, right? So it only refreshes once the next thing gets queued. Okay, so that's a bit of a problem. So that queue should refresh the moment you click on the module. Okay, but that shouldn't be too big a deal. Okay, so there we go. It's sorted, I guess. Now 3, we should have 3. So if we go to extraction, because these are extraction type modules, we only see 1. Right, and we can install it, so that's fine. Now we have volatile extraction. We can install it again. Okay, so it seems like they all exist. Let's see if they all start working. So if we just fly over to the moon, each of them should start extracting. Okay, so volatile extraction on the moon is terrible because you still use the fuel and you mine fuel at the same time, but your mining rate for the actual volatiles is terrible. So that's a bad thing to do. Okay, let's just reset that quickly. Try it again. Want to see something. It looks like... So what's happening with the production is... if you have multiple of one type, they do exist, but it only shows when you try to add module the first one or whatever. Something like that's happening. So now I made 3 modules of 3 different types. 3 types of extraction modules, right? Yeah, so if I go to extraction now and I click here, I do see all 3. Okay, so that kind of works. So the bug is actually not... So this is actually showing one of each type of module. So I didn't lose an extraction module, or I don't lose them. They are still there, but I only see one of each type. Okay, so now I can add another surface extraction, I can add the deep extraction, and I can fly to the moon. And they should start working. Yeah, okay. So we have, clearly we are extracting resources. Okay, so that's okay then. If we go to production, now here's some other problems. So if we do solar power, so I think I might know. No, I don't know. Okay, but let's do a solar array. Let's make 2 of them and see if we can add them. Now, I don't think you can. We'll see now what the problem is there. So power, it doesn't show, right? Okay, so that's a problem. Let's go to let's do processing. No, production. Let's make a processing module. So just let's make a couple advanced processing modules. Let's say 3. Okay, so here's another thing I thought that was funny. If we complete the first one, and we exit, so we go back, and then we sit around here and we go to processing. Okay. Okay, that was funny. So processing, we click here, we have 1 advanced processing, okay. Let's go back to production. Okay, so one of them completed when I wasn't looking. But we should still have 3 available. So we can't see, but if we click here. Okay, all 3 were produced, even though I wasn't necessarily looking. Okay, that's good. Okay, so production continues in the background. That's not a problem. Now, what I'm thinking, if I produce, let's produce another surface extraction module and another, let's say, processing module. So what I'm thinking is happening with the power is it picks up that we're already full, right? So it's what am I? Let's just wait for both. I can't remember which one I did first. So this is my idea. If I go to processing now, if I click here, it shows nothing, even though I did make one. And for extraction, it's also showing nothing for some reason. Okay, what I'm thinking could be some of the cause there. So if we just check our modules, right? So each of these modules have a size, right? So we can see here size 4, size 2, size 2, 2, 8, 8. Okay, 2, 4, 1. And each node also has a size. And it effectively tells you how much of each module, of how many modules it can keep or take. Right, so if you have fusion power, which is what we start with for power, you see it's a size 8, which kind of means it's already full, right? So we can't add more things. But it shouldn't necessarily then not show what modules are available. So that's kind of the thing. I think it sees, oh, it's full, so then it doesn't show you any modules. I want to do a few things. I want to see the node itself. Okay, so it starts with a capacity of 8, which is what I thought. And then the view doesn't want to show anything if that capacity is already reached, which is kind of dumb, right? I still want it to show the list, right? So let's see if we can fix that part first. Okay, so nodes. That's not what I want. This is simulation. I want presentation. Nodes. Okay, so this is the view and the view model. Okay, so let's go to the view and see where we get the selector, right? So this is our icon selector. Okay, we create a new one. View model, available modules. Okay, so what I'm suspecting is that it's returning a list that's empty. Okay, so module SOs, game data, instance get modules for node. The node ID. If I'm not mistaken, all this thing does here it just returns a list of module definitions, yeah, and it doesn't care. So it just brings you a list of module definitions, so it wouldn't do anything weird. Okay, so I see what I'm doing here. So this module IDs, I do get available modules, right? So that returns a list, but then I do a selection here where M can add module definition size. Okay. I see. So I filter it here. So if I just remove that statement, that will stop happening. But what I'm thinking now is I did this for a reason. It might be okay. So would you want available modules in your list if you can't install them? Maybe not. But maybe we should also have a way of getting a list of the modules in storage, right? That might be another thing we have to do. Just so that we can actually see, you know, okay, these are all the modules in storage right now. So they are power modules or whatever. I just can't add them to this specific structure. That's probably what we need to do. So let's just do okay, this works. However, we should add a way of seeing all stored modules. Okay. So now the next problem I have still is the way it only gives me one module. Okay, so here it gets available modules, structure, storage, get shippables, type module, where S definition, node ID, to list. Interesting. I don't know if this thing returns a full. Somewhere here, this thing is only. Okay, this thing is returning of type, which should mean it returns a full list of the modules. I'm not sure if the problem is here. Yeah, so this is just the list we create, right? Module IDs. Let's ask ChatGPT what's going on here, because I'm not sure if this is actually where my problems lie. Okay, I'm having a problem where I think it's this function. It returns a list, but it only returns one of each module type, instead of just, if I have 3 of those types of modules, returns a list of 3 things. I seem to only get one thing. Is it from this, or am I looking in the wrong place? Yo, Damon. How's it going? Okay, it's 2 hash it. I was wondering if this could be my problem. So this only keeps unique values. Okay, I don't remember why I did 2 hash set, to be honest. If we do 2 list, it should be fine, eh? Okay. There might have been a reason for this. I thought that I was being clever, I guess. Maybe I would change it back in the future. I don't know. But okay, so that is the problem. Let's go try it again. So if we go production and we make surface extraction 3, should work now. Okay, we made the first 2. Let's go back. Extraction. Okay, that's full. Oh wait, did I save it? I did, okay. So extraction, click here, I only get 1. But there's clearly more than 1. Ugh. Where am I going wrong? Somehow, somewhere, something. Okay. Okay, this is a view model, so I could use a Unity. Yeah. Let's grab Unity and let's try a couple of debugs. I guess we just want module IDs dot count, right? Yeah, no, I can't remember why I did that, to be honest with you. Like, some of this was written quite a few months ago. So, I'm discovering some of this code for the first time now with you guys. Because, as far as I'm concerned, you know, this wasn't written by me. It was written by some other guy. Okay, so let's just check the module ID counts. I don't think this is the problem anymore. I think we are getting the right available module counts. So the ID should be correct. This might be the problem though. Module SOs. Yeah, I'm also not sure if this does something funny. Oh wait, maybe, wait, I did paste this into, yeah, so let's see, fix. Okay, so we do a to list. Okay, this is also the problem. See, get available modules. Okay, so that works, but then this section is probably where I cock it up again. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. So it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't actually matter. Because, okay, so even if I get a list of 3 IDs, right? So I get 3 surface extractors. The module SOs, there's only, so the definitions aren't duplicated. So when I return the definitions, yeah, I only return 1 of each. So available modules would have to return maybe, well, maybe 2 things. So the list of the definitions, perhaps, but also the amounts of each definition. And then duplicate it that way. Yeah. Then here, where we just go create the icon selector. This still won't work exactly the way I want, because I essentially wanted to do... I need to generate this list in a completely different way then. Okay. So this nice, link method that makes everything easier, well, just makes it seem easier. It's actually breaking it now. So what I should actually do is I should maybe loop through the IDs, and then for each ID I should add a reference to a module. Yeah, so let's try that. So these are strings, right? Oh, what am I doing? Okay, this is module IDs. Please go there. Yeah, so what I should be doing is not that. Yeah, so module SOs can be there. That's fine. Then we do module SOs dot add. Okay, now what we have to do here is go to game data instance. And then I don't remember what functions are in game data, but I think I should be able to just query this dictionary to get the definition. Yeah, so I should just be able to do that. So I could just do definition SOs, give it the ID. Right. As module definition SO. And here we need to do just create a new list for me. So if I'm understanding this correctly, okay, so then I don't do that. It will now go through this list, which has multiple entries of everything, and it should add a reference multiple times to the same definition, right? I could do debug statements to check that, or I could just run this and go with it. And then if it doesn't work, I can come back and do debug statements to check it. Okay, but I'm just gonna go run with it. Production 1, 2, 3 surface extractions again. I should really change the time it takes for these things to create, so I can iterate faster, right? It's okay. It's only 30 seconds. Okay, so surface extraction. So if I go to extraction now and I click here, hey, look at that, I have 2. And I think the other one should be done now. Still have 2. Oh, come on. Now I have 3. Okay, cool. So now I can see all of them available. I can click on any one and it adds and removes. Okay. That's fine then. Okay, so that fixes that problem. Okay. Now, okay, so this is actually working. I'm gonna take all that, put it there, and I should, as a way of seeing all stored modules. That should be add a way of seeing all stored modules, right? Okay, then this not refreshing correctly problem. That should be fairly straightforward. Okay, so the production behavior element, as soon as it's created again, yeah, okay, it creates with all of this, but we should also, like, I'm gonna collapse that one. Okay, what I think I want to do is just, so we basically want to run update queue elements and this one as well. Okay, so maybe we do that at the view model. Okay, there's a couple of things we haven't done here. So, okay, so when we dispose, we should actually take all of this stuff. Okay, we stick it in here and have them all become do these ones. Okay, just deregister all of those. Okay, now we need to think about, so okay, so when does this thing gets created? Over here, when the module element gets created. The element is already there and it's given to the view model, and the view model gets created, and the view model, I think, should then actually just update our element. Right, essentially what we want to do, update queue elements. I think we run it in the view model. Yeah. Okay, so the behavior on progress changed. Okay, so that gets updated, so maybe I don't have to worry about that one. Then change current production element. See here, I get a module definition from my behavior. Okay, so we need a way of exposing, you know, what is currently being produced in our behavior, essentially. Because what I want to do is something like element.change current production element, right? Just so that it, once you create this thing, it goes and it creates this. So I would want to do that. Right, and then I want to do update queue elements. Okay, but there I need a list of objects. Okay, but I think that's the update queue elements. So the current production element and everything in the queue needs to be listed as soon as you click on this thing. Okay, but the problem is we don't have all the information. Right, so can we just ask the behavior, listen, what are you busy with currently? Let me just put that on the screen. Should be able to. I think my processing does that already. Ugh. Like this. I have too many tabs open. Let's go processing behavior and elements. Or view model. Pick you on there. As far as I know, yeah. The moment we open this thing, we ask it, you know, what resources are you producing? And then we set the element data. Actually, then maybe that's a better way of doing it. So we go to the element itself and we just add a set data function here. So public void set data, and we'll think about what we want to set there. Right, but effectively what we want to do is update queue elements. We need a list of module definitions, so this thing would also need modules in queue. And it would also need a module definition SO. This would be module being produced. Okay. Something like that. So the queue and the module currently being produced. That's the most important information we need right now. Okay, and then we can just do change current production element. And we can give it the module being produced. And we can do update queue elements with modules in queue. So just do that. And then over here in our view module, we only do set data. Okay, but we need that stuff. So let's go to our behavior and figure out if we can just ask it what those things are. So current item in production is just private here. And the queue is also private. What we could do is do public, I guess, and you know, okay, if we create this, we have to do production queue equals new right there. Okay, and we just do that, and then we can also do public private set, right? And it should be able to be set privately. This one doesn't get set privately. The things inside get changed. Right, we never change the production queue. We only have one. We can grab it and work with it, but that's essentially it. Okay, that should work. And then my view model could just do set data. You can ask behavior dot. Oh, okay, wait. This is going to be annoying. Yeah, okay, we need to do all this nonsense, right? Behavior dot you. Did I just call it production queue? Why can't I remember? Yeah, it is production queue. We go through the production queue. We do this. So what we could do is we could just do if behavior dot production queue dot count is greater than 0. Right, then we do this. We could also just do that. We don't even try if we don't have a queue count. Yeah, okay. Fine. Okay, and then right here we want to set data with the modules in queue. So SOs. And finally, we want to get our current item in production. We're going to have to go to game data and grab it from there, right? Like so. Okay, what we have to put in here is behavior dot current item in production. Dot ID. Okay, then we can set the element data when we create this thing. Now it's completely possible that. Okay, this could actually be null as well, which means this is going to break because we might not have anything in production, right? Yeah, okay, so maybe I should separate these and I shouldn't just do one set data. Yeah, I think so. We should do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that instead. So we do something like this, and then I'd rather do elements dot queue update queue elements with SOs. I think that's better. And then here we can also do if behavior dot current item productions not equal to null. Do something with it. And in that case, I would much rather just then do change current production element, right? Change current production element, and we give it essentially just that thing. And we don't do any of this. Thought I was being clever, but we have two things that can be true. We might have a null production element, or current production elements, and we might have a list that still has something. So to try and handle them separately is a little messy. So I'll just do that. And then in the element, there's no need for the set data function at all. Okay, this should work. And once that works, we can move on to something new. Can't wait. Okay, let's go have a look. Hard reload is having problems, but I think I sorted them at some point. I wish it cleared those errors when they get sorted, right? But hey. Okay, production. Let's go make like 5 of surface extraction. Now we have a nice queue here. And if I go back and I open it up again, it still says surface extraction. We still see our queue. Okay, back and in. Okay, if I delete one, I go back, go in, it still works. And now if I add volatile extraction, full. Okay, so that works. I go back, I go in, still there, still shows all my things being produced. Okay. So it's working. Righto. So right here, production queue does not refresh. That does now. Nice. Okay, so what else do we need to do? Well, probably a lot of things, but what did I write here? So, produce new module to add to Vulkan, make the node selection work right. Okay, I think this is the last thing I kind of want to do right now, and then we can move on from this. So, have modules be stored somewhere, like a module storage. So, let me just play again, and then we can think about this. Okay, so I'd say this is my idea. So currently, you know, we have Vulkan, which is a structure, and a structure has storage, right? And here we have, obviously, a bunch of nodes. But I feel like we should have a panel here of some sort that just gives us, you know, all of the resources or modules or whatever available on the structure. Because you can imagine in the future what will happen is you might get to a point where, you know, you have an outpost somewhere and it will not have its resources displayed up here. This bar at the top is Vulkan exclusive, right? This is Vulkan's resources, and only Vulkan's resources get showed here. Because it's such a, you know, strategic vessel, I wanted you to always be able to know how much resources you have. Right, so that's fine for Vulkan. But all the other structures would have to have a way of seeing the resources here on the side when you click on the structure. Or at least have a button that you can click to see what resources you have. And additionally, I'm thinking now a button that you can click to show stored modules. Right, so if you're looking for a module somewhere and you can click on the structure, you're like, oh, look, we have an extra power module here that I never installed. Let's install it, right? Something like that. So we should look at the structure, because the node itself, these are just all the nodes available on the structure, but on top of that, I think we want the resources available. So a little UI thing that shows you the resources. So if we go to UI Builder, okay, this node thing is fine for now. We can let it. Don't remember what that visual element was about. I don't think anything. I think I just put it there because I was testing stuff. Okay, so let's open our structure UI. Structure panel, right? And I might have been thinking this already, so I probably have something in the hierarchy reflecting that. Yeah, so I have structure info, node buttons, node panel holder. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so the node panel holder, that's where the node pops up, right? When you click on the node, that's where it goes. Node buttons, that's all the buttons we see with the different nodes. And then structure info, that's technically where the rest of the info needs to go, right? So we have the name of the structure, and that's kind of it. So what we should be adding here, you know, might be a visual element for resources. Right, so our resource or list of resources go there, and then even a button or something, I guess. And we'll call this module storage or something like that, right? Obviously we can change it, but later. But anyway. Okay, show stored modules. Right, something like that. Okay, so the question is, how do we show our resources here? Now, I think we obviously already have a little element that looks like this. You know, that doesn't do a bad job of showing the resources. So we could reuse that element if we can get it to fit. But I have another one that I think would also work pretty nicely. So if we go to extraction, for instance, I have these elements, which I edited for extraction purposes, right? So they're a little smaller, but you can imagine if I want to fit in, what's this, 16 resources, I can make a 4x4 grid here, showing all the resources that I have, not just the. And I could even put the rates, you know, for production rates and stuff like that. Okay, so let's do that then. Okay, so those elements. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do first? I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna close a bunch of stuff because I have too many things open. Can we do close all tabs? Oh, closed all but pinned. Okay, that's cool. That helps. Okay, we'll keep our to-do list open for now. Okay, so what we want. I just want to see what I have at least. So for presentation UI, it's not modules or nodes, it's shared UI, I believe. Resource summary view. It seems like I started something here. I don't remember making this, to be honest. Okay, this is our resource element. Okay, so we could reuse these elements. We could just generate them in place there. Okay, this should be what I want to do. So I'll just open resource element and look at it. And then I can't remember what resource summary view was intended to do. I'm assuming it was something to do with this, right? It must be something to do with that, but I can't remember at all. Did I actually make... that I want, so like I have the node panel on the structure, maybe I wanted to create a resource summary view. Let's see, did I make it? Oh, it doesn't seem like I did. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to do it on its own thing necessarily. Like I did with the node panel, I don't think. And I think I could just do it right here in structure info. So essentially what I need is I need my structure panel view. I mean, it is getting a little full here, so maybe that was the idea. But I mean, I could still... I should still be able to... Yeah, let's do that. I could just do resource summary view like that, right? And then I can work with it in there. So we can get rid of all this stuff. So we make a separate class just to keep it separate from the structure panel view. And we can reference things from here. We can even have this thing have a reference to the resource summary view, or vice versa, right? So yeah, let's just do that. Let's keep it. It's much easier if we just have a public resource summary view, right? Something like that here instead. If we want access to them like that. Yeah, okay. So why would we maybe want that? So what I'm thinking is if we have a resource summary view and we have a structure panel view, we obviously have a structure panel view model and a resource summary view mod. What did I just open? Icon selected. No, thank you. Go away. Yo, Mr. Human Limits. How's it going, man? How are you doing today? You're here a little earlier, so I guess you're not just gonna run away immediately. Okay. This is the element. I don't really worry about that one too much. Okay, so the view models. Okay, this thing really doesn't do much. It just gives us a connection to the structure. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, do we need a view model for the resource summary itself? Or can we just link it into this? I kind of feel like I just want to link it straight in there. Does that one guy ever come still? There's a couple of people who came back after the hiatus. But it's pretty quiet these days, right? Because I mean, I've been away for 8 months or something, so. But I've seen some familiar faces. This guy, Damon, and Brody. I know those three have been quite active. You, obviously. And that's about it, right? Not many people, but to start. There were a few other people on Twitch as well. But that's about everybody. No, you were talking about Damon. Oh yeah. No, he's here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking if the resource summary, like this thing is always going to be connected to a structure in some way. So I feel like I'm going to delete that. So the reason I don't want a separate view model, I'll rather have two views connecting to one view model. Or maybe not even have this as a separate view. Yeah, maybe not even have it as a separate view. And mainly because you need information from the structure, right? You need the storage and all that good stuff to actually know what's happening with the resources. And it's not like I have a counterpart to resource summary in the simulation. But I do have for structure, so it just keeps it a little bit more organized. Yeah, so you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of this instead. Remove. Let's not clutter this. Okay, so now we can do in structure everything we have to do. Yo, this guy. I'm doing well, thanks, and you? So essentially, I want everything now to be put in here somehow. Okay, so let's do private visual element resources. Do I just want to call this resources or resource list or container? I don't know. Let's call it resource container. Not too bad, not too bad. That's good. Yeah, that's cool, Mr. Human Limits. You kept yourself busy, hey? Okay. Well, we'll call it the resource container. And now, obviously, when we start this, we need to do resource container equals root container dot q. We look for a label. Label. What? Label. And it's called resource container. Okay, and in that thing, we need to do a bunch of nonsense, right? Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, so we get the resource container. Now I'm thinking, how do I want to do this? Do I just want to generate stuff in code, or do I want to go edit it inside of UI Builder? Because I'm thinking about this now. I'm not entirely sure how I can make a grid. Unless I put, you know, because it's a 4x4. I could do something like this and just have 4 rows. And then I can label them row 1. Row 2. You know, the good old manual way. I'm worried now. Okay, let me just think about this for a little bit. Am I ever gonna need this thing somewhere else? Structures would be the only thing that has storage. So it wouldn't make sense to have a list of resources on anything but a structure. Right? I mean, that seems reasonable. So if I build it here, it should be okay. I am not very confident that that's going to be the case. But anyway, let's try that. So now what we can do here is we could call these resource. Hello? What is it doing? Why does it do that? Okay, anyway. Dot resource container. Yeah, I could just have that as a thing, right? And then resource container. I think dot row. Okay, and I could just add these here. So each of these. What? I'm assuming I shouldn't have the dot spaced. I never know how this works. When do you put a space? When do you not put a space? Oh, I'm flipping. Okay, I can't remember this. I think I had this discussion with UI Toolkit the other day. Ach, not with UI Toolkit, with... Okay, let's just do this. Remind me again with selectors when to put a space between and when not. As I can't remember for the life of me. Okay, a space is a selector descendant. Without a space, same element has both classes. Okay. So I don't necessarily want these things to have both classes, right? I just want to call them row. And I want to put a space. Hey, Brody, man. How's it going? Now. Okay. Now for crying out loud. You know what? Screw this. Delete you, delete you. I'm creating a new selector. Call it resource container underscore row. And I'm just gonna put it straight on each of these, right? Because I am gonna lose my mind. That is what it is. These rows are only for the resource container. So I'm stupid. You've been using Claude to rest your fingers, eh? Good on you. I suppose are you a developer by day as well, not just by night? I am only a developer by super early in the mornings. The rest of the time, I'm not a developer at all, or a programmer. Oh, okay. So what is Claude doing then in your tech support? I'm assuming you're at work right now, and Claude is helping you with that, right? I don't know. It's writing emails to people. Is it tech? You like IT tech support? So it's like, is it layman IT? Like just setting people's, resetting passwords and stuff like that? That level of tech support, or is it like specialized tech support? You work in a specific industry where you do tech support on specific types of machinery. Because oh, you used Claude to help you make something for your game. Oh, I thought Claude was sending emails to people. I actually don't know if Claude does that. I just know ChatGPT could do that. Because obviously ChatGPT is a bit of a all-rounder. Okay, so if we make these height 60. Okay, so now we have the rows, and this is the container. Alright, let's just... Okay, you're the senior support guy. Okay, but that is still IT, right? Because when I was doing support, I wasn't called a tech support technically, but I was supporting our customers on, you know, steam turbines, gas turbines, you know, large rotating equipment, generally speaking. It's still a kind of support, but it's not something I do with a laptop necessarily. Okay. I think I want to go back here. So now we have these rows. Now you see, now I don't want to. I kind of want a separate class for this because I don't like cluttering things. So let's make a separate class. And we should think about how exactly information flows into that class. Guess we could just give it a reference or some. We'll figure it out as we go, right? We'll figure it out. Let's just do. And for now, it's just going to live inside this file. So structure, resource, container. Let's call it the resource view. Yeah, okay. I'm writing this like it's a function. Okay, and we can have a structure resource view constructor, and we can go from there for now. Okay, and part of the reason why I don't like, or why I didn't want to put this in here, is because obviously this is going to get cluttered now. Okay, so I want to get a reference to a visual element, and it's going to be the container, I guess. And we can have visual element container, and then we can do this dot container is equal to container. Okay, fine. That's where we start. And then we also want the rows. I'm thinking we just do a list of visual element, call it rows for some reason, and rows equals new list, and then we go rows dot add. Okay, and this is now where it gets stupid. So we're going to go container.q query, and we want to find wait a minute, I can just get the children, right? So if I do container.children children, oh, for crying out loud. And what does this do? Returns elements from the content container. So it is a list. Right, so we could do rows equal container.children.toList. Right? Actually give me all my rows. Now, I'm assuming it's in order. Right? That's a safe assumption. Surely. Okay. So now we have that. And we need to populate this. Now, how do I populate this again? I think I'm going to go to my persistent panel view. Because I do it there. A little bit differently, but I do it. So let's just see how did I actually do this again. Now, set resource icons. Oh, wait a minute. Is my persistent panel... Did I drag in the resource elements? I might have, actually. Yes, I have resource elements. So did I drag them in? Ah. I think I did. Yeah, okay. So I have a list. I got all of them. Okay. And then I went through that list and I initialized each of them. I want to create them on the fly, I feel like. Right? Perhaps? Where else do I create these things on the fly? Maybe, extraction module, right? How do I do it here? Each definition, we create an element. In it, we hide amounts. We add to class list. Okay, so something like this could also be a way. Just put it here with my... just as references, right? I'm going to do it slightly differently. So the first thing I think I'm going to do... So let's make a little private... I don't need... Do I need this? No, I don't. When we create the resource view, we can simply do this here, right? Okay, so we need to find something like all the resource definitions like this. So game data is probably where we need to go, right? Okay, so what I think we're going to do is for int I. Okay, not quite like this. Well, I guess we can do it like this. We go through the rows first, right? So row 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we iterate through the rows instead. But we also need for int j equals 0. J less than 4 j plus plus. Yeah, so the idea would be it's going to be element I times 4 plus j. Right. Essentially what that's going to look like, so let's just type some of this out. There's going to be, for the first iteration, it's 0 times 4 plus 0. So that's just the 0th element, right? And then it's 1, 2, 3. And it would be 1, 2, and 3 in terms of index. Okay, then we do 1 times 4. 1 times 4 plus 0, 1, and 2. So that would be 4, 5, and 6. So this works out. Right. And it goes up to 7. So I think that type of thing works. Okay, so that's how we're going to get each of the resources from our game data, right? So, but game data itself, let's see. So we have resources. Essentially have this, yeah, we could do it with strings as well. Resource IDs. We have a list or an array of resource IDs. So I guess what we could do is something like this. Game data dot instance, not instantiate. Instance. Right, this should be, yeah, no, this is fine. Dot. We could do resource IDs and give it this number if we wanted to. Right. Okay, but then what we actually want is we want rows I, right, dot add, and what we want to add is our game data instance. No, this is not what we want to do at all. What we actually want to do is we want to create a resource element new. Right, I want to create a resource element Okay, that's actually what we want to do, right? So we are kind of doing this first, right? Creating a new resource element. Then what we want to do is we want to do element dot init element, and we need to give it an ID and a sprite. Okay, so we need to get the resource, the definition. Okay. So that's maybe resource definition SO. Okay, so this is we get from game data dot instance dot. Now I'm thinking, could we get it straight from the? Yeah, we should be able to do that, right? If we do resource SOs dot values, and we give it an index, that should work, right? Do I need to do to list or something? And then give it an index. Okay, I guess so. So we just get all the values to a list and we give it an index. They should still be ordered, I believe, correctly. Right, I hope. Okay, then we initialize the element and we give it the definition.id and definition.sprite. Okay. Now the element is nice and initialized. We should probably add it to a class list, right? Element.add to class list. What are you going to be called? You are a resource element the type is a structure, I guess. Yeah, we'll figure that out now. So we do that. I guess we could give it a name if that helps. Okay, then in the row that we are currently in, we just want to add element, right? That seems reasonable. So we add the element. Okay, I believe that's going to work. So we grab the definition from our game data with this wonky index, and then we initialize the element, we add it to class list, we give it a name, then we go to rows and we add the element to it. Right. And I believe that's all we need to do there for now. So what we can also do here is put the resource element class inside the structure panel. Okay. How did I actually do the mining one? I don't remember. Let's go open up. I think it's the node panel. Yeah, okay, so resource element mining and resource elements. Okay, so it has to have both. Okay. Yeah, because I think they still have resource element attached to them, right? Because that happens inside here. Yeah. Okay, so over here, resource element structure dot resource element. We'll just do that so that we know it's going to select the right thing. Okay. Now what we can even do, if we want to, is we can grab a resource element, stick it in the row. Okay, so we need to add this class to it. See what it does. Okay, there we go. So that correctly selects that thing there. Now, actually, I don't think that looks too bad. Okay, so we duplicate this. Okay, so obviously our rows are completely bad. They need to be arranged like that. And I want to get some spacing in between here. Is it that button? That button. That looks good. Right, and now if we have multiple rows of these, first of all, the resource element, I suppose, is just grew to fit the row, yeah. Okay, so that's good. It's fine. That's acceptable. Yeah, I think this is just gonna work fine. Ugh. To give it a little bit of a background color, so it looks slightly differently. Let's make this button look a little better as well. Yeah, let's just give it a color so it stands out. This is the node stuff. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So let's just go to row 1 and remove these elements. Okay, so now we've created this thing, we have the container. that we don't really use at all. Nah, not really. Okay, so the big thing we still need to do is actually connect this somehow to what's happening in the back. This set data, essentially. Okay, so we have a okay, we made a dictionary of all the resource elements here, so we can easily access them with an ID and a rate. That's maybe not a bad idea. And the persistent panel view, how do I do that one? That's just the icon. Set resource rates. Okay, yeah, so we have an index and a rate. Yeah, so we basically need this, either a list or a dictionary of some kind. I kind of like I like just having a list, I suppose. Then we might not need the rows, really. It helps here, but we might just be able to use it as a local variable. Because we won't really access this ever again. I don't know. Maybe we will. Okay, but anyway, we have a resource element list as well. And essentially what I should also then do is go resource amount and we just add the elements, right? Because each of these elements have a way to update amount and rate. So then what we should do is have a set resource rate or update the actual resource. So public void I wonder if we should do set data instead, and then we do an int index string rate and string, let's do amount first and then string rate, right? So when we set these, that's what we do. And then what we can do here is we can go resource amount element list. We can access our index element and we can do set no, what do we do? Update amount with amount, and then here we do update rate with the rate. Okay, just something straightforward like that. Now, where this is getting called gets a little bit strange in a way. Yeah, so it's gonna have to come from the view model, right? If I'm not mistaken. So if we look at these ones, so set resource rate, it happens in the view model. And the reason is because our view model has access to our structure and our storage and all that good stuff, right? So we need something like this happening here. So I do both of them separately. I guess maybe that is correct. But let's just do that. Okay. And what we want here is actually our structure, get resource rate total. Okay, and then we need to, in our view, so do I separate these then? Is that the question? Okay. Public void set resource rate. Right, and public void set resource amount. Okay, and okay, what we're gonna have to do here, private resource, what is this thing called? Structure resource view. Equals. Oh well. Let's just call it the resource view. Right, when we started, we do resource view equals new. And we give it the container. Right? Just like that. We could even just do it like this, to be honest. And then we don't need this here. We don't need this here. Right, so we create our resource view like that with the container. Okay, then here we do resource view dot set data. Okay. So we need to know which one we're trying to set. Okay, so set resource rate. Let's just see. So I had it with an index and a string. Okay. So when we set data, we could just pass in the index amount in this case. Ah, yes, I see now what's gonna happen here. Right, this doesn't actually work. Because it's gonna update the amount. Right, unless we do if amount not equal just that, and we do if rate not equal a blank string, we do that. I don't think I'm happy about that right now, but yeah, it's what I did. So here we'll do resource view dot set data again, and we use the same index. We do amount, and then we just do nothing. Right, so we send in blank strings, which kind of feels bad, but you know. Okay, and here we want set resource amount, not update Vulkan resources. And here we go, structure, storage, get resource amount of resource. Okay, that should work. I believe. Okay, now we just need to update these at the appropriate times, right? Okay, so on this side, the updates are called in an update function from our view. We can obviously have an update function here, and it could update those things. Yeah, so I don't need this at all. Yeah, so okay, my I only have one structure that I ever click on, so I haven't had this problem, but I'm thinking now, if I select a different structure, essentially all of this needs to be reset, right? You don't necessarily need new ones, but all the data would have to be reset. Same with what I do with the nodes, right? So as I click on nodes, I clear things and I do all kinds of funny stuff. Okay, I'll have to figure that out later. I don't. But it is definitely going to be an issue. So I do need to think about that. Okay, so the persistent view has an update function. I'm assuming then basically I'll need to do a private void update here as well. Yeah, it's going to be something like this, right? Actually, it's very similar. Now we just need an update timer, because we don't want to update too frequently. Update resource rate, update storage amounts. If view model is equal to null, just return. Okay, so we already check for that. Yeah, okay, so this should be fine. Update the resource rate and storage amount, so everything gets called now at some point. So our structure, view, model, these two are being called every second, updating the resources. Okay. Shall we give it a whirl? I guess. Let's see what it does. Play. Null reference exception error. That's a good start. Okay, we click on Vulkan. Nothing. Okay. Null reference exceptions. Okay. Okay, let's see. Where are you happening? Okay, so it doesn't get the resource container on start. Oh, I'm looking for a label. Why am I looking for a label? Oh my greatness. Okay. It's actually a visual element. Okay, that might already solve all the problems. I'm not even going to look at the other error, because that one was so stupid. So let's just check. Okay. Look at that. Okay, that's unfortunate. The the order is completely incorrect, right? Ah, shit. Okay, it should be in this order, so I need to figure out why. So somehow the index... Oh, it's alphabetical. It is alphabetical again, isn't it? That's why the icons are incorrect. The values are right. Yeah, so if we go for... Okay, we shouldn't let it grow. But anyway, if we go here... and it starts mining, you can see the values, it updates at the correct places. Right, so these values are being updated. So it is the first 4, but the icons are completely wrong. Okay. But that doesn't look too bad. It's at least somewhat working. Okay, let's stop there. And let's go see what did I do with the ordering. So I remember having this problem with the persistent view as well. Ah, yes. So the resource scriptable object has an index. That's right. I gave them indexes so I could always order them. Okay, so that's why... yeah, I give it the index from the resource S. Oh, okay. If we look at this, this is a little awkward. Yeah, so I go through this and I get the definition, but the definition index will not be the same as this index. So I need to get the definition. I need to do a dot where something like how does this work again? Ah. Yeah, I'm not super good with this link stuff. I think I need to do d dot index. Okay, I'm do I correct this link thing? Okay, cool. So I don't need to list in this case. So it's not where that I was thinking. I'm thinking first or default. Okay. This just would return the first thing that it finds with the index of that. Okay, that should work because now the indexes should match. Okay, let's give it a go. There we go. Look at that. All nice and ordered the same way that one is. In order of rarity. Okay, that's perfect. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to take this thing out. UI Builder. I kind of want to mess with this thing a little bit. So, one of the things that's bothering me is that it grows. I don't want it to grow or shrink. Okay. Didn't save anything. Why did it just break? Okay, let's just redo that, redraw it. Let's see what it does if it doesn't grow. I want to keep these things the same, or the correct size, right? Okay, now everything's squished in. I need to figure out how big this panel is and just keep it that size. Honestly. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, let's open window UI toolkit, UI Builder. You can go live there again, and you know what? Well, yes. I'm just trying to get it on its own. Okay, there we go. So let's open up our persistent panel. Right, this one. And let's go have a look at our sidebar. So our sidebar is a certain size, and it's effectively the whole structure, right? Yes. Okay, there's some padding and stuff there. So the structure panel. Okay, so it stretches through the whole thing, but like how much is it stretching? Yeah, height auto, that doesn't help at all. Okay, let's play it and let's go find out what that height is. So I can get the layout to work a little bit better. Window layout, no. Your toolkit, debugger, pick element. Okay, so the sidebar is 950 long, and the structure oh no, the structure, okay, it's 250 by 950. And there's some padding there. Okay, 250 by 950. Alright, thank you very much. That's all I wanted to know. Then in UI Builder, I want to open up my structure. And I want to go click here and make the width 250, 950. Right, now I know exactly what it looks like in game. Okay, and now what I can do is I can start setting these sizes so that it looks good. Okay, so we can do, let's do a resource element there. 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 And there. So just one in each. So we're just going to basically try and edit them so they look nice. Okay, so the first thing with the resource element is maybe the height needs to be slightly less. Okay, so now this is where it kind of just ignores me. Because they don't have... Okay, so now if I grab this thing and I give it a smaller size. Okay, they do become smaller. Okay, fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Yeah, I'm not sure that I want them to be smaller, but we are still working on it. So, okay, so the container row itself has a height of 60. Let's make it 50. 55. Oh my greatness. 55. Okay, that looks good. So then the container itself to be 55 times 4. 220. Okay, and then they all look good, and they now stay that size. Okay. Okay, that button can also just be that size. Okay, structure info. Why are you so big? Okay, let's unset you. What is this random line? Okay, so that's everything we need in structure info, I think. The question is, does it now stay that way, or will it still try to move about? Okay, let's go and remove all my resource elements. Save. Try again. I just break Unity. Okay, let's play it. Maybe it comes back to me. It seems like it's broken. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Well, it doesn't really look better, but it's at least doesn't just grow infinitely. Okay, so power. There's my power. Go back. Extraction. Nothing there. Back. Extraction, back. Okay, production. Yeah, so let's see if I produce a couple of things. So surface extractors, for instance. Go, it updates my view. Okay. And if I move over here, so it's producing, I should start mining. And I'm mining. Okay, so everything, I mean, some of it looks terrible, but it's working. Okay, yeah, so definitely here we need to have like a little bit of space and a heading, nodes, right? The back button doesn't do anything, but that's okay. Okay, I think that's not bad. So show stored modules would be the next thing that I click. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, let's see. Did this thing come back to me? Okay, the scenes are now showing again. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, seems like it is back. So select node buttons. I feel like just on top of this, we need to put a label or something. Right, something like a label. And the label should say structure nodes. Right, just something like that. And we can center this. We can make it a little bit bigger. Let's make it a 24. And then we can add some padding or something. Or margin. Yeah, just so that doesn't look too bad. We could also, yeah, I mean, I guess. Should probably have like borders and stuff going in here. I also want to add a few selectors for the icons, I think. Right. Similar to how I did with my extraction. Right, so if we look at what I did with the extraction, you know what, let's do this. That was actually my USS, right? Yeah, okay, so I need to go open. Go check the node panel. Yeah, save. Yeah, this is what I did. Resource element icon, right? So I actually just want to copy that. Go to structure panel. And add that selector. This should at least get me, you know, to edit the icon. So let's go check what did I actually do with that. So resource element mining. Yeah, okay, I just made the icon smaller. So 25 by 15. That might be a bit too small. But we could do maybe a 35 by 20. No idea what that looks like. But we could quickly add a new element. Right, just in one of these. And it should work as soon as I add that to the element. Oh wait, this shouldn't be mining. This should be resource element structure. There we go. So now the icon gets smaller. Okay, so it's not width limited, it's the height. Make them a little smaller. Meh. The numbers are still quite big. Yeah, so let's duplicate this and let's get the amount, right? Yeah, we can just unset all, just to reset it. All I really want to do is maybe change the font size. Slightly smaller there. That doesn't look too bad now. It fits a little bit better. Okay, so the icons are a little smaller. The numbers are a little smaller. But overall, it seems a little neater. We have structure nodes here. Okay, we need to figure out how to space these a little better. Because, yeah, it's quite a bit of spacing there. Let's see, what are these elements made out of? Node button element. Okay, so they have an icon and a label, but they don't have... Oh, no, they do. I do have node button. I do have class selectors here, but I don't know if I actually edited them anywhere. Yeah, I should check that out. Okay, but I think I'm actually gonna call it there, guys. I know it's a shorter stream than usual. Normally I go for 3 hours, but I'm a little tired, right? It's been tough getting back into it. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot less sleep, it turns out. Last night was particularly bad, so I'm just gonna call it there and take it easy. We did get quite a bit done today, so I'm happy overall. And before we start with the next big issue, which is the stored modules, I think I can start that tomorrow safely. So, let's go raid somebody. See if there's somebody I remember or I know. Hey, Ice Bear is back. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's go raid him. Okay, let's just go here. Go to the end stream screen. There we go. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Let me see if I can get this raid going. Yeah.